Hold please. We'll be back right after these dope messages. What's that sound? That's the sound of being able to eat whatever your yummy tummy desires while completing your Invisalign treatment. I love food, so I was ecstatic to still eat what I wanted by simply popping out those Invisalign aligners when I was ready to eat, which was super dope, especially compared to those days of restricted snacks with the traditional braces. Invisalign lets you do you. Not to mention they feel better and are less painful than braces. Invisalign gets you the results you want in as little as 6 months. Now peeps, please note that treatment time does vary depending on Invisalign product type, your wear time, and the complexity of what you and your soon-to-be straight teeth need. So that must be determined by your doctor. Call Bates Orthodontics today at 804-258-4268. And if you're listening to this late at night, then visit them at batesbraces.com. That is BATESBRACES.com. batesbraces.com to book your free consult by clicking on the bright green button and following the 3 easy steps to reserve your appointment today. And for the peeps that are outside of Virginia, visit Invisalign.com. That is INVISALINGN.com and enter your zip code to find the best Invisalign provider for you. Let the dope peeps at Bates Orthodontics know Crystal sent you from the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast. And send me pics. I want to see those soon-to-be straight teeth peeps. There is only one you, and that is your superpower. You can't F that up. However, you can get stuck. That's why I created this space called Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons. Unstuck Yourself is about figuring out what has you feeling frustrated, isolated, or depleted of energy so that you're able to unstuck yourself on your journey through life when you don't know how to move forward. Unstuck yourself in your career that no longer excites and challenges you. Unstuck yourself with negative thoughts that seem to be doing cartwheels in your head consistently. I don't have the answers. You do. You always have. I'm providing the time, space, and grace for you to reconnect to that knowing. I'm Crystal Simmons, coach, speaker, and facilitator, and I'm grateful you made it here. Let's begin to unstuck yourself. Hey, peeps, it's me, your favorite, your dopest, unstuck coach, Crystal. And for some of you, you've been here for a good little while, and for others, you may be a little dangerous by playing this podcast for the first time. And to that, I want to say, how does your brain work? I'm so curious. It is so hard for me to start anything from the middle because I'm like, what did I miss? I have to start from the beginning. So I'm always fascinated for those who just jump into a podcast, listen to the latest episode, even though there might be 100 other episodes that were released beforehand. Welcome. I know we have new listeners and I'm so thankful for that. If you have been here from day one, December the 1st, 2021, you are an original dope-tastic listener and I thank you. And I ask, have you shared this podcast with anyone? If not, share this episode now because your friend, your family, your coworker, your neighbor may be the wild and crazy ones who like to listen to podcast episodes from the middle of the actual journey of the podcast. No, but seriously, take this time right now. If you have received just one gem from listening to one episode or the 25 episodes beforehand, which I have to toot because that feels so amazing to say. But yeah, we grow by us collectively letting the people we like, we love, we trust, we allow them to experience what we experience. We don't hoard that goodness, that pleasure-filled experience, which is so fitting for today's episode, which is Pursuing Pleasure Part 1 of the Shame, Doubt, and Fear. Oh my! series that I love doing. We've done a couple of these before on different topics, but today is all about pleasure. I think about it's the pleasure principle. Oh, oh, the principle of pleasure. And y'all know I had to go back and watch that video. Oh, the pleasure principle. Oh. Now I know I just made y'all want to go listen to Janet Jackson. Oh my goodness. So good. It's playing in my head. I apologize. So the question that I would like to start off by asking is, when was the last time you provided yourself pleasure? Do you set aside time to please yourself? And I'm pausing for a moment because I want to ask, where did your mind just take you? Are you thinking about the fact that May is International Masturbation Month? I just learned that. Shout out to Goody Howard. She's a sexologist. She was on the podcast on episode, hold on, I'm gonna get it. I thought I wrote it down, but no worries. It was a really good episode. Probably the most mind shifting and adjustments, like mindset adjustments for me, because I gained so many different perspectives during that just candid conversation. But yeah, go back to episode 18, titled Cultivating a Sex Positive Culture with Goody Howard, because when she mentioned pleasure, my brain went to sexual. And she was like, no, I'm talking about non-sexual pleasure. And that's what we're talking about in today's episode is non-sexual pleasure. And then we'll get to the sexual pleasure a little bit later. It's time to break down how pleasure is defined. Because y'all know here in Unstuck Yourself Land or Crystal Town, we like definitions. Because when we're expressing ourselves or providing clear messages, we might have a sense of a word or a statement. But having that clear definition will actually allow more clarity, understanding, and ability to then decide, oh, I like this. I'm going to keep doing this action. Or, hey, I don't like that. So I'm going to stop. Or I'm going to adjust it. So we love definitions. And pleasure is defined as a noun. It is a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment. Again, pleasure, non-sexual, just pleasing pleasure. The definition is feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment. And similar terms will be happiness, delight, joy, gladness, rapture. When I read that, I was like, wait, Anita Baker? Anyways, okay. Glee, satisfaction, gratification, fulfillment, contentedness, which I didn't even know contentedness was a word, enjoyment, and amusement. And when we use pleasure as an adjective, it is defined as used or intended for entertainment rather than business. And when used as a verb, it's defined as give sexual enjoyment or satisfaction to. So tell me again, when was the last time you experienced pleasure? Again, your brain might go to sexual, Crystal, get out of my business. Remember, pleasure is a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment, and all of the other words I shared. And right there, we could do a whole episode on that, because too often when we are feeling stuck in a situation where even this word might activate you to think, should we be talking about this? If this happened to you, it may not have happened to you, but in recognizing if your brain goes to is this sexual? Can I actually play this right now? It is a signal to pause. Hey, where did I get that thought from? Where did I get that feeling from? Was that word ever used in placement for those words of excitement or joy or rapture? Was pleasure only used for things where we were deeming to be more sexual? And if that's the case, then it will bring more awareness of, oh, okay, so now I understand where that's coming from. And there really isn't a reason to feel shame if that word is brought up. And now you don't have to be doubtful of, oh, I can't use the word pleasure. Because now I'm using it more and more just by having that conversation in my past episode. That was episode 18 with Goody Howard, and her clarifying for me that there is sexual pleasure and non-sexual pleasure. And luckily, I found a list and it laid out 35 simple pleasures that you can enjoy. And I can tell you, a lot of these things on this list, just reading it brought me excitement, joy, a smile on my face, a feeling of light, just lightness, not that heavy weight of stress or anxiety or any type of just pressure of needing to be something or needing to do something. So I wanted to share a couple of them because we'll be here all day if I did all 35. But if you like the whole list, feel free to email me at Crystal, Crystal, at crystalclearpurposes.com. And that's CrystalClear, and then purposes, PURPOSES.com. Crystal at crystalclearpurposes.com. And I'll send you the article of the 35 listed simple pleasures. And I have to start with my favorite, which is taking a bath. Now, just a little side note, I normally shower versus taking a bath because in all honesty, even though a bath is very relaxing, it does cause me to do more work when I want to relax. I cannot take a bath and not clean the tub. For me, that's gross. Okay? And I also learned if I don't do it immediately, it will just sit there and I have to look at it and it's gross. So I had to push past that thought because for a long time I was like, I'm not taking a bath because I don't feel like cleaning it afterwards. What's the point if I'm supposed to be relaxing and then I make myself do more work right after relaxing? It's worth it. I'm telling you, especially because you do it right after, it's not that hard to clean. So that's a little tip in case your brain told you, ain't nobody got time for that. Because I noticed that there were it's almost like anything else in life. Our computers we use, it needs to go to sleep. We have to turn it off. We might have to reboot it. We might have to do updates. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over every single day. And it would be very beneficial for each of us to develop our own rebooting, our own updating, our own clearing out the cache. What is that called? Is that how you say it? Let me know. But we have to do that for ourselves. And I found that taking a hot bath, like soaking, sitting, it really does feel like getting a massage, even though there's nothing like a massage, which I'm going to get a massage very soon. Whitney, if you're listening to this, I'm going to schedule an appointment. She comes to your house. She does deep tissue massage. Ah, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah. I try to do a bath or take a soak in a bath for decompression, for relaxation, at least once a week. And I'll know if I haven't done it because I'm more irritable. I'm quick to react versus pausing to respond. And it could be just a simple conversation I'm having. It could be a simple task I'm trying to complete, but I can't for some reason, like I'm frustrated. I will literally ask myself, when was the last time I soaked in the bathtub? And if it's been over a week, I start the bath. I might have my Arbonne bath salts and I'll get a book or I'll play my calm meditation music app or I'll turn on Audible and listen to a book. And I'm in there for about 45 minutes. I really don't keep track of how long I'm in there. and I'm sweating, y'all. Like, and the cool thing is, I actually looked up benefits for soaking in a hot bath or a warm bath. It shouldn't be like too hot. And this came from Town and Country. They listed 8 benefits of soaking in a hot bath. The first one is elevate your mood. And that feeling of pleasure actually lasts longer, which I can attest to, because I'm telling you, after I finish my bath, I feel like I'm on cloud 9. I'm light. I feel like I just finished a full body massage. Like, what's happening? What's going on? I feel great. And the next one, it'll help you sleep better. It really does help me sleep better. And not that it'll make me sleepy. I'm just super chill and relaxed. Obviously, it helps to relieve muscle pain, where some of us who play sports, or even if you didn't and you just soak in the bath, you already know that. But it also makes your heart healthier by helping to reduce your blood pressure, which I think is pretty dope. It helps to burn calories because you're sweating. And you just sitting and sweating, which is blowing my mind because the body is amazing. This was a new one that I just learned, but it could be the equivalent of you actually taking a walk, but it does not replace you taking a walk. Just FYI, it could just be another cherry on top. It also can relieve cold and flu symptoms. With the steam from the bath, you can help to get the blood vessels in your face, like moving, if you're suffering from a stuffy nose or type of upper respiratory, like congestion, which I never thought about. But also it helps to soothe irritated skin. And it says it makes you feel more awake. So yeah, one of the simplest pleasures that I enjoy and that I complete quite frequently is taking a bath. I highly recommend. The next one is, it is right on time. Like everything is just coming. Like it's so just in sync. It's so dope. Hearing the right song at the right moment. There's nothing like it. All right. So this just happened Friday. I received my first paycheck from my part-time job. And I was telling my husband, I was like, just got paid Friday night. Something shaking. I don't know. Feelings right. So I went into the bathroom to get ready and I just pulled up Spotify, looked up the song and started playing it. And my husband was like, wow, really? And I was like, this is so good. I went to the song. I clicked on go to song radio. So it started playing all these oldies but goodies that took me back to when I was at home. My parents were blasting their favorite songs from when they were growing up. And that's why I resonate so much with them. It literally just snaps me right back into my bedroom and me just feeling like those songs are mine because they played it so often. Where I remember just dancing in my room. Even back then, recording songs on a cassette so I could listen to them like, oh, these goodies. Or my mom like doing a deep clean on Saturday mornings and the pine sol smells wakes you up. Or my dad shampooing the carpet, and my sisters will remember him like doing that but blasting the music, trying to wake us up. But man, I miss those. I cannot sleep in anymore. Sleeping in for me is like waking up at like 8:30. Back then, sleeping into like 11, 12. Oh, the good life. But yeah, hearing the right song at the right moment, whether it's happy or whether it's sad or whether it's reminding you of someone you dated when you were in high school, or maybe it was a song where you're like, F you, I hate you because you broke up with me. So whatever the case might be, like just remembering how that song made you feel, whether it gave you that boost of confidence, like, oh, I actually can dance, or I look cute dancing. That is a pleasure-filled moment that you could give yourself right now. Even turn on the radio. Sometimes I'll turn on the radio because usually I'll link up my phone with Spotify or Audible or listen to a podcast. And more times than not, I'll try the radio and then like an old Aaliyah song pop. I'm like, or like the Janet Jackson song I was singing. I went down a rabbit hole when I thought about her song and started watching her videos of, I can't. All right. So moving on. So we went through being able to pursuing pleasure. And these are a couple of the things that I enjoy that provide me pleasure to hopefully ignite your thoughts of what you can do to provide yourself pleasure. The next one that I wanted to share for me is climbing into the bed with fresh sheets. Recently, my husband found these really soft sheets and this nice new quilt and these tall nightstands. I swear, y'all, for a good 2 weeks, even now, I'll be like, oh my God, it feels like we're staying in a hotel. Cause there is nothing like, and maybe it's just me, but there's nothing like hotel sheets, hotel pillows. Like, where do they get that from? Because when we try to buy pillows, the shits go flat. The feathers are stabbing me in my neck. It's just so irritating. Where are the good pillows? But the sheet, oh my goodness. Ooh, it's so nice. The only hiccup is for the fitted sheets, you have got to get the cinched corner where it grips the mattress and the fitted sheet doesn't pop off on a corner. That is so irritating. So I told him, I was like, it feels amazing, babe, but don't buy no more because I'm tired of these shits popping off on the side. We got to get something just like it, but it has to have the cinch corner. So that's a nice pleasure. Like, I literally felt like I was in a hotel. It really felt like luxury and just, it's just the best feeling. And you get to feel that every single night by just buying sheets, if that's your thing. But it was something I didn't even know would provide me pleasure. He was just like, we need new sheets. So yeah. And obviously my next one, pursuing pleasure for myself, is having a good laugh. Feeding me and making me laugh are the keys to my heart. And also allowing me to initiate laughter is also the key to my heart. And being around my family, we are so funny. We are so funny. And I have to give kudos to my husband for him pursuing his comedy career. Cause I do feel like he kind of lit the flame for us all to like expand our inner comedian. Like, it's just, we were always funny. Growing up with my sisters and my dad, especially my dad, always cracking jokes, great sense of humor, but all of us have it. My mom, my sisters, my brother-in-law, my nephews, my nieces. So it's just really fun to be around them because we're all making a joke together. We may have a little inside joke that we keep repeating, but having a good laugh is definitely top on the list of providing myself pleasure. I'm going to say 2 more. The next one is blowing bubbles. When I read that, I was like, I need to buy some bubbles. Y'all. Do y'all remember buying the cheap version of the bubbles where you stick the stick in, but your finger has to dip all the way down into the liquid because the stick is too short? You pull it out and you go to blow it and it just pops. No bubble, nothing. So you're like, all right, cool. I got this. I'm going to dip it in and then I'm just going to fling it. So then you can have a whole line of just 85 bubbles at once. You do that and then you just slap somebody in the face with the bubble juice. If you take me up on this offer for pursuing pleasure, please don't skimp out on buying legit bubbles. And don't do the machine. For me, I'm just old school. The satisfaction is dipping it, and then you can swing the wand and let the bubbles fly, or you can blow it slow or go really fast. You get little ones. Just carefree, just being. But then when you have little kids or a dog or somebody around you to help try to pop them, or you catch them and Goodness gracious, oh man, I had a beautiful childhood. Oh, I'm so grateful. And this is what pleasure does. It allows you to pop open that box of gratitude that we tend to forget to peek inside or tip over and pour out. We forget how much we have provided ourselves. We forget how we have made something out of nothing. And I'm hoping that this is a reminder that you're already doing it, that you didn't really even need my list. You just needed that reminder. And I'm happy to give it. And the last one I'm going to share is, remember, this is a long list of 35 different ways to unlock pleasure for yourself. And the last one is making someone smile. There's not a better feeling of looking at a little baby and just smiling and they smile back at you, just so carefree, and energy attracts like energy. So if you are smiling, whether physically, teeth, all of them showing, or your eyes because you have your mask on, whatever, no judgment. Making someone else smile is because you have it within you. Because you are exuding that energy and that presence for them to reciprocate what you're giving out. And in turn, it just keeps bouncing back and forth between you and the other individual. And it's nice. You see somebody in the store, you give them a smile, they give you a smile, or maybe you're just walking and you have 1,000 things running through your brain and someone smiles at you and you're able to smile back at them. That's a pleasure-filled moment. You can use some of these examples. You can email me for the full list of other ways to discover the joy and simple pleasures. But know that it starts with you first. It starts with the awareness of what pleasure is. And that's what we went through. And then building on what is pleasure, but how can I obtain it? How can I pursue it? And then realizing, oh, I'm already doing it. Okay, cool. So this is something you can do all the time. You can do it with other people. It doesn't have to be this stigma or fear of pleasure. No, I can't do that. So simple. But yet it creates a huge return. And on our next episode, Pursuing Pleasure, we're going to introduce what it is sexually. Like I stated earlier, May is International Masturbation Month, which was initially celebrated on May the 7th in 1995. And the holiday was first declared by the sex-positive, iconic retailer Good Vibrations after Surgeon General Joycelyn Elders was fired by then President Bill Clinton in 1994 for suggesting sex education curriculum for students, including masturbation. So after watching Netflix limited series, The Principles of Pleasure, which is broken down into 3 parts. It covers our bodies, our minds, and our relationships. If you haven't watched it, go ahead, add it to your watch list right now because it is a must-see. Like, seriously. It released so much shame, fear, and doubt that I didn't even recognize I had. But as I was watching, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This is why I thought this. This is why I was afraid to say this. This is why I never wanted to ask about that or always felt weird or off. So if you haven't watched that, watch that. And then after you add that to your list of must watch, you can watch it multiple times. Add Love, Sex, and Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow. That is huge. And if you have a partner, then invite them in to watch it with you because I started watching it solo. And literally 10 minutes in, I paused and I was like, no, I gotta get Devon to watch this with me. Like, this is gonna be so beneficial for both of us individually, but also as a couple. And I was right. Shit is dope. I keep unlocking more and more. I'm getting more curious and I'm not as fearful and I'm not as doubtful or shameful about talking about this. And I know I'm not alone. So that excites me as well. So yes, if you have Netflix, there is no reason for you not to watch The Principles of Pleasure. And then also watch the Love, Sex, and Goop. Both are limited series. But jam-packed with so much information. So much information. But we will be exploring a little bit more about pursuing pleasure in the sexual sense in part 2. So hopefully you will stick around. But again, as a reminder, please share this episode with someone else you love, you care about, and hopefully they too can tap into their own journey of pursuing pleasure through taking a bath. They also mentioned that first sip of coffee in the morning on that list, but I don't drink coffee, so I didn't list that. But for many, that is like, the smell of it, the memories, what it's going to do for you, or just whatever it is. Hopefully this will spark something in you to give yourself permission to pursue pleasure and not give a about what people say about you pursuing pleasure for yourself. You deserve it. You were made to have it. It is for you. And I'm really hoping that you're going to go get it. Okay, so obviously the biggest thing to consider is answering the question, when is the last time I provided myself with pleasure? And hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll actually be inspired to write a few ideas that maybe popped into your head as you're listening to me list off my favorite go-to activities that provide me with the most abundant pleasure. So I'll challenge you to identify 3, just at least 3. Maybe one requires you to get up and move your body, and that provides you with great pleasure. Or perhaps you'll have one that requires you to do the least amount of work possible. That's cool too. But choose a variety of your favorite pleasure-filled activities that you can implement right now. And from that list, take action. Do it now. Tell somebody that will hold you accountable to take that action. Or maybe you'll have to put it up on your calendar just as a reminder because you get really busy. But block out that time so that there are no distractions. There are no obstacles. You have it in there for a reason. Make sure you do that so that you have a solid, concrete plan to pursue pleasure sooner rather than later. And if you're feeling like, Crystal, I have so much to do already, I say, yes, you're right. You're 100% correct. You do all the things on all the days at all the times. Why have you then decided to stuck yourself by putting yourself last? What is up with that? You are literally choosing to stuck yourself voluntarily. Why? If you still cannot think of your own ideas, go ahead and email me for that list of 35 ways to discover the joy in simple pleasures. Email me, crystal@crystalclearpurposes.com. Keep it simple. Put in the subject line, send me that list of pursuing pleasure. And that is a wrap for today's episode. I am Crystal, the Unstuck Coach, telling you to stay curious. We'll talk next week. And until then, get unstuck, peeps.